Nuel Folktales.
Many years ago in the city of Akure, in the busy market of Adegbola, stood a very big shop, painted bright pink and white, with a bold signboard that commanded attention. It was Bola's shop, a hairdressing salon. It was not like the other type of salon that we know. It was a special salon for children only. In this salon, they don't make bone straight or frontal installations there. What you see are brightly colored beads and hair bands and wooden combs. This shop was owned by a very beautiful and gentle woman named Bola. Bola was not just beautiful and hardworking. She had a special talent for braiding natural hair, especially children's hair. Her hands were soft and gentle like feather, and that made children love to sit on a braiding chair to get their hairs done. Bola could braid the toughest of hairs. There was no child Bola couldn't handle. Even the stubborn cry babies sat still like princesses in Bola's salon. Those stubborn children who cried and trashed everything when making their hairs mellowed down as soon as they stepped into Bola's shop. And Bola made sure to give her customers the very best. Her braids were neat and long-lasting. Years ago, when Bola newly came to Akure from the village, she had nothing but her dreams and her wooden combs. When she landed in Adegbola market, she started doing research. She went round the market for days, studying the entire market. Then, just like a revelation, she got the idea to open a children's salon. The very next week, Bola got a small shop and painted it bright pink and white, and bought plastic chairs and stools, and did her very first big signboard, Auntie B's Children Heaven. When people saw Bola's shop there, they wondered who the crazy person was that opened a salon just for children. People stared and wondered. The other big salon owners laughed and sneered at Bola's shop as they passed. But Bola was a smart businesswoman who did her research and found an untapped market, and she jumped right on it. The first week she started, business was slow. People were still watching, observing from one corner. The second week came, and one customer, Mama Toyi, came with her twins, who had stubborn hair like elephant grass that no other stylist wanted to touch. She decided to test Bola to see if she could handle her children's hair. That day, Bola with her magic fingers did wonders on the girl's head. Mama Toyi couldn't believe her eyes that someone could braid her children's hair, and they didn't cry or shout or run around the shop. She overpaid Bola that day and blew her trumpet all over the market. And before you know it, one more customer came, two came, five came, and in a few months, Bola became a household name in Akure. Her business boomed beyond her expectations. Children loved her, parents adored her, and her bank account kept swelling. Bola's shop got so popular that women lined up with their children from 6:30 a.m. just to sit on Bola's chair. Women with BB cars and gele all came from far and wide just to braid their children's hair. It got to a point that Bola introduced appointments. You must book appointment before you come to Auntie B's salon. No appointment, no braids. Every day was drama in Auntie B's shop. Women fought and dragged themselves like tiger generator because of appointments. One day, one of Bola's customer named Mama Abike missed her 9 a.m. appointment because of traffic. When she got to Bola's salon, she had already moved on to her next customer, which was Mama Choma's daughter. When Mama Abike entered the salon and saw Bola braiding another child's hair, she flared up in anger. Apparently, her husband had offended her that morning at home. Bola, Why are you braiding another customer's hair now? It is my daughter's turn, Mama Abike said, sounding irritated. Ah, mommy, don't be offended though, but you are 45 minutes late. I had to move on to the next customer since you were not here, Bola tried to explain. Bola, I was stuck in traffic. Abeg, leave that girl's hair and do Abike's hair. I have another engagement, Mama Abike said with anger. Mama Choma, who had been watching from the corner, finally spoke up. Bele o, Madam Engagement. So Bola should leave my daughter and attend to your daughter after you missed your appointment because you are president's wife, Abi. Auntie Bola, please continue plaiting my daughter's hair. Eh? You say wetin? Who are you talking to? Do you know who I am? You this second-hand woman. Is it me you are talking to like that? Mama Abike backed. Eh? Who are you calling second-hand woman? Do you know who I am? Mama Choma clapped back. Before anybody could say jack, the two women jammed themselves like Lagos traffic and collided head to head like two hungry bulls. Before you know it, gele started flying. Wigs shifted. Lashes started flying round Bola's shop. When Bola saw that they were about to destroy her shop that she had worked so hard to build, she rushed towards them to try to separate them. But her left hand got caught up in the fierce chicken fight between Mama Choma and Mama Abike. Mama Choma grabbed Bola's hand and twisted it thinking it was Mama Abike's hand. Bola screamed, "Yay! Egbami o! My hand oh! My hand oh! Yay!" Bola's workers and the other women had to force Bola's golden hand out of Mama Choma's grip and then drag the two women out of Bola's shop like chickens. The fight didn't end there. It continued outside Bola's shop. Slap flew left, right, center. Punchings were sounding like talking drum. They met themselves bumper to bumper. They fought fiercely over what exactly? Appointment inside Bola's salon. Other market women had to run down to separate the two women from destroying themselves and the cars around Bola's shop. That day, Bola just sat there, shaking to her core, with her sprained wrist resting on her laps. Even she couldn't explain what just happened. She just sat there, dumbfounded and in pain. Those two rascals wanted to spoil market for her. They wanted to damage her money-making machine, her golden hand. That evening, Bola sent other customers away since Mama Choma and Mama Abike almost broke her bones. She closed her shop early and went home to massage her hand with hot water and rub. For the next couple of days, Bola closed her shop. Her hand was very sore from Mama Choma's WrestleMania attack, so she decided to just use the opportunity to relax herself and rest. Bola told her workers not to come to work, but her customers kept calling her phone. They kept calling, messaging on WhatsApp, Facebook. Some even visited her house to ask why her shop was locked. "Auntie Bola, my children's graduation is tomorrow. Come and make their hair. Auntie Bola, my children have birthday party to attend. Auntie Bola this, Auntie Bola that." Bola's ears were filled with complaints. Eventually, on the third day, she decided to resume work since her hand had healed completely. That day started like any other day at Auntie B's children heaven. But later that day, something or someone walked into Bola's shop, and that encounter turned her life upside down. A young, handsome, dark-skinned man wearing crisp white sleeve and black trouser with long hair packed to the back stepped into Bola's shop. The man was tall with a bright smile that made heart flutter. The man walked with confidence and scanned the entire shop as if he was a police officer at a checkpoint. And then he said, "Good afternoon. Please, I'm looking for Auntie Bola." Bola, who was arranging bead on a little girl's hair, looked up and replied, "Good afternoon, sir. Any problem?" The man smiled and said, "So you must be the celebrity Bola then. Please, I want to make my hair. I have heard so much about you." "You mean your daughter's hair?" Bola asked, confused. "No, I want to make my hair," the man insisted. The entire salon fell silent. Bola's worker turned to look at their madam and to the strange man who wanted to braid his hair in a children's salon. "Sir, this salon is for children only. There's a unisex salon not too far from here. You can go there and check," Bola said. But the man shook his head. "I want you to braid my hair. I have a very soft scalp, and I heard you have gentle hand for children. I'm willing to pay you 100,000 naira for you to braid my hair," the man said. When Bola heard 100,000 naira, her eyes went big. She would have to make over 20 children's hair to get 100k, and now this man is offering that for just simple weaving. This one a golden opportunity. Oh. She left what she was doing and went close to the man and whispered to him to come back by 6:30 when all the children and their mummies would have left. She had started calculating what she would buy in her shop with the money. If only she knew. That evening, exactly 6:30 p.m., the man walked into Bola's shop like a breeze, and he sat on Bola's braiding chair to get his hair done. But as soon as Bola touched his head, she felt a sharp chill, almost like an electric shock, running down her spine. Bola froze for a second at the feeling, but she quickly composed herself and brushed off the feeling. When she stared at the man from the mirror, he was smiling and staring at her. Bola had to force herself to smile back at him just to be polite, and she started braiding his hair. All through the braiding session, Bola couldn't understand the feeling that washed over her. She kept telling herself that nothing was wrong, that maybe she was just tired, or maybe because she hadn't braided any adult hair in a long time. So when the man started forming small conversations, she forced herself to respond to him. After she finished her work, the man brought out 100,000 naira from his pocket and handed it to Bola and told her his name was Dakpo. And then he left, just as he came, like a breeze. That night, Bola had a disturbing dream. She found herself inside her salon at night. She was braiding a little girl's hair, while the other children sat on their stool waiting for their turn, just like a normal everyday routine. But there was something strange this time. The children were motionless like dolls. Their eyes were white, and they were just static like dolls. The shop was dark, and Bola found herself braiding one of the girls' hair at a very fast speed. It was as if her hands were no longer hers, as if something has taken over. Bola tried to stop her hands from moving, but she couldn't. She tried to shout, but nothing came out of her mouth. Then suddenly, a figure with sunken cheeks and white shiny eyes stood behind her and whispered to her ears, "Braid faster. Well done. They are waiting for you. Braid faster." Bola felt a chill running down her spine, and she screamed out of her sleep in terror. When she regained consciousness, she found herself on her bed in her room. Her heart was racing as cold sweat broke out on her skin. Bola looked around her tiny room, but everything was normal. "Now which kind dream be this?" she muttered to herself. "God abeg o, na only braid I do o," she said, as her mind kept going back to that man, Dakpo, that she braided his hair earlier. Bola laid on her bed staring at her ceiling, trying to wrap her head around the strange dream she just had, and eventually she dozed off into a deep sleep. By the next morning, Bola had completely forgotten about the strange dream she had. The drama that always happened at Auntie B's salon made her forget. That day her schedule was packed and she didn't even have time to eat lunch. And by the end of the day, Bola went home exhausted and passed out into deep sleep with no bad dream at all. So Bola never thought about the dream again. Old things have passed away. She went to her shop every day and everything seems to be normal, just as it has always been. But a week later, Dakpo returned with his usual devilishly handsome face and smile. When Bola saw him at that door, she froze for a second and remembered the strange feeling she had when she braided his hair for the first time, and the strange dream she had that same night. Takwa walked into Bola's shop and said, "If you are not too busy, can you help me retouch my hair?" Bola stared at him for a second. One might told her to say no, but the man offered 100k this time again. Before you know it, Bola opened her mouth and said, "I am available, sir. Please sit down." Bola braided Dakpo's hair that evening, and she didn't get any chills or weird feeling. Everything was normal. You see, maybe you were just overthinking it, Amai told her. When she was done, Dakpo paid her 100k and everything was normal. She slept that night and everything was normal. There was no bad dream, nothing, just sweet sound sleep. When Bola woke up the next morning, she smiled. Dakpo is just a normal customer, she said to herself. She brought out the money Dakpo paid her the previous day and started counting it again with smiles on her face. And before she went to work that morning, she wrote down a list of what to restock in her salon, and her life and business went on perfectly. The next week, Dakpo came back to braid his hair and paid 100k. He returned the next week, and the next, and the next, and before you know it, Dakpo became a regular customer at Auntie B's salon. Bola got comfortable around him and found out that he was a very nice man. They started talking small, and Dakpo started bringing gifts each time he came to braid his hair. Small chops and malts today, as soon an Hollandia yogurt tomorrow. Soon, Dakpo and Bola became very close that Dakpo visited her at the salon every day after work. And they would smile at each other and laugh and gist. Bola's workers and customers noticed and they started teasing her. Ìyàwó loading, Ashwebi loading, Bola and Dakpo 2025. And Bola would blush and smile. She had fallen inside the love Dakpo had specially prepared for her. And this love, he choke. One day, after closing, Dakpo asked Bola out in her salon and she immediately accepted. And that was how they started dating. Their love was sweet. Dakpo was even sweeter. He brought lunch every day for Bola and her workers. He bought special gifts for her and even gave her money without her asking. Bola felt on top of the world. She thought Dakpo was her final bus stop. In 3 months after they started dating, Dakpo proposed marriage, and in another 2 months, they were married, and Bola moved into Dakpo's house in another part of Akure, and that was when the real trouble started. Bola started having strange dreams every night, where she finds herself in a salon, braiding children's hair who were sitting like they were dolls. And that same strange figure kept telling her to braid faster. They are waiting for you. Well done. Every night, the dreams kept getting more and more intense than the last. And each time Bola told Dakpo, he would hold her sweetly and tell her it was just a nightmare. That not everybody was happy with her success and marriage in Adegbola market. The dreams continued. But that was not the worst part. Barely 2 months into their marriage, Dakpo started going on strange business trips every weekend. And each time he got back from those strange business trips, he would always get her gifts. But these gifts were not jewelries or designer bag or even perfume. No, it was always a beautiful set of combs. At first, Bola was surprised that her husband always got her combs. And when she asked, he said he saw the beautiful set of combs at the market. And they reminded him of his beautiful wife. So he decided to buy them for her. Use them in your shop, he would say, with his usual smile. Bola collected the gift and thanked him. But he kept bringing back different sets of combs. Some were beautifully crafted wooden combs. Some were even golden combs. But the gifts were always combs. One day, Bola decided to take those beautiful combs to her salon to use them. That day, she arrived at work and started braiding a little girl named Tife's hair. But as soon as she used one of the comb her husband gave her to part Tife's hair, the child froze as if she was jolted by an electric current. And before you know it, eyes rolled to the back of her head, and Tife collapsed on Bola's braiding chair. Bola froze, then screamed. Everybody in the shop shouted, "Yay!" Mama Tife rushed towards her daughter and carried her away from Bola's shop to the nearest chemist. Bola was dumbfounded and shocked. So was the other customers. But later, they all brushed it off. Some mummies said that maybe Tife was short of blood. Others said she was malnourished, that her mother was not feeding her well. Some even said it was malaria. But Bola just sat there in panic. Something inside her was telling her something was wrong somewhere. Her mind flashed back to the constant nightmare she had been having and the strange combs her husband had been bringing home from his trip. But later, she brushed it off, since something like that had never happened before. But what she didn't know was that was only the beginning. That same week, 5 other children fainted on Bola's braiding chair, and people started looking with corner eye. They started asking questions. Parents started cancelling appointments. Then one Tuesday afternoon, the worst happened. A little girl named Zara fainted again on Bola's chair, and her mother rushed her to the hospital. But before they could get to the nearest hospital, Zara died on her mother's arms. Bam! That was the beginning of the end of Bola's children's heaven. Zara's mom cried bitterly. Zara was perfectly healthy and was even jumping and playing when they arrived at Bola's salon. Now, she left with her daughter's lifeless body. Zara's mom told her husband what had happened that day, and they mobilized area boys and stormed Adegbola's market. That day, Adegbola market was on fire and hot pepper soup. The area boys entered Bola's shop and dragged her out. They smashed everything inside her shop and tore down her big beautiful signboard. The market women gathered and started asking questions, and then Mama Zara explained what had happened, and they shouted. The other salon women who had been envying her started calling her names. She be witch, oh, children eater. She takes children's destiny. Ogbanje. Different names that Bola had never heard before. That day, Mama Zara, who was grieving, pounced on Bola and dragged her hair and almost tore off her clothes. And before anybody could say jack, the area boys had brought out tire and petrol to burn Bola alive. The market women, who were close to Bola and knew something was definitely fishy somewhere, stood their ground and shielded Bola. And one woman, Mama Kola, the women leader in the market, helped Bola escape for her dear life. Bola ran with no shoes, her hair scattered, her dress almost torn to pieces. She ran straight home to her husband. When she got to their gate, she barged into their parlor and collapsed on the floor, panting. And then she burst into hot tears. "Baby, what happened? What is the matter?" Dakbo asked with concern on his face. Bola collapsed on her husband's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. And then she told him everything that happened at the market. How she was almost burnt alive by area boys. Dakbo held her tight. "Sorry, my love. I know you are innocent. Don't worry, we'll figure this out," he said with his usual smile. That night, Bola couldn't eat. The food couldn't go through her throat. She just showered and went straight to bed around 7 p.m. with a sore body and a troubled mind. It wasn't long after Bola laid on her bed that she drifted into a deep sleep with a very fierce nightmare. She was back at her salon, braiding the children's hair, who were looking like dolls. But this time, the air in the salon was thick. The lights were flickering. Bola was trembling. And then came the figure. It placed its hand on Bola's shoulders and then whispered, "You have done well so far, but I'm not done with you yet. Braid faster. They are waiting for you. Well done. Keep going." Bola was terrified. She wanted to scream, but no sound came out of her mouth. Then she looked in the mirror in front of her, and what she saw sent chills down her spine. The figure had Dakpo's face, or rather, the figure was Dakpo, her husband, and he was smiling at her with his usual devilish smiles. Bola screamed out of her dream and jerked up from her bed. Wetin be dis? She was panting hard and trembling. Her throat was dried. Bola looked around the room and couldn't find her husband. She looked at the time and it was 11 p.m. at night. She got up from where she sat and went downstairs to get water to drink and also look for her husband to tell him about the dream she just had. But when she got to the living room, the sight she saw had her screaming in terror. It was Dakpo. He was sitting on the floor in their living room and he was braiding his own hair. But the head was not on his head. It was on his lap as he braided. Then suddenly, the head turned to Bola and smiled sinisterly at her, just like in the dream. Bola's brain could interpret only one thing at that time. It was to flee. Hi lovelies, what do you think of the story? What would happen to Bola now that she had seen Dakpo's true form? Who and what exactly is Dakpo? What is the fate of Bola? Find out in the next episode. And until I bring the next episode your way, stay tuned and bye for now.